The FCS College Football Experience Week 3 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use the promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on football, college or pro. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code SGP. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use the promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Once again, download the Game Time app. Use that promo code CFBX for $20 off. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, play Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times the amount of money you enter in one game. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the FCS College Football Experience Week Trace Reaction Show. Oh, I'm excited. This has been a very, very interesting week. Week 2 is loaded, and there was some just absolutely batshit crazy games that I'm excited to talk about and look ahead at the week 4 slate, which I think is pretty fantastic as well. But you're probably wondering who the hell you listen to, and that's fair. My name is Kobe Swigga Dad, the base dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
I mean, the amount of games that came down to the final drive. It was a fantastic week. FCS football thriving, in my opinion, and I would say the heartbeat of college football in general. Let's go. Let's talk about it. I am joined by my co-host. They call this guy the Gulf Coast Guru. He's down there catching sun rays, picking winners, and he knows his FCS college football. Give it up for Mike Rose, aka Gulf Coast Guru. How you doing, brother?
What is up, dude? Hey, we had a week where Presbyterian and Wagner won in the same week. What do you think about that? That got to be the first time that's happened in years.
I mean, we had a week where Portland State dropped 80 some points.
91.
I mean, yeah, 90. I'm sorry, it was 80 when the Oregon game against them, but yeah, 90. Woo! And shout out to the chat as they're already rolling along, saying happy Monday and what a beautiful week of FCS football. Man, dude, this was a fantastic week in my opinion of big time FCS games. I look at that week. I look at that week 4 slate too, and I'm pretty fucking excited. Looking back at week 3, obviously the Thursday game, Bethune-Cookman did cover against Miami. A critical fumble going into the end zone for Miami. If you bet this game, fucking hilarious. And then we had a game moved up because of a hurricane that never even happened. Rhode Island and Maine, which happened on Friday, and the Rams of Rhode Island, they continue to. The weekday games are those two. We have 2 weekday games this week as well, but I'm curious your take on Rhode Island, man. You look at Rhode Island. And Georgia State's undefeated, by the way. They beat Charlotte. They beat UConn and kind of whooped both their asses. So it makes me think Maine is like maybe should be the favorite. I know everyone's talking Wayman and Mary to be the favorite in the CAA. Some people say in New Hampshire after that close loss against Central Michigan. I think Rhode Island should be in the mix, man. I think Rhode Island's pretty damn good. No, Villanova's looking good too. But I mean, what do you make of this Rhode Island Ram team, man?
Yeah, man. Well, I forget where you had him. I know you had him up there. I had him second in the CAA.
I think I had him second too. I think I had him second I could maybe third. It could have been third. Well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're living up to it, man. Kasim Hill looks good. They got a run game going too now. So
and the one receiver Summers. Kahtero Summers lighting it up. Mm-hmm. He had what was it in the game on Friday? 6 for 130 and 2 touchdowns. Whoo! Get him the ball.
Get him rocked.
Yes, huge win there. And then I mean, I'm gonna go game by game, but the biggest takeaways to me on Saturday. Well, sorry, my computer wire unhooked for a second, but my biggest takeaway from Saturday is I made a mistake fading North Dakota State in that dome, in that filthy dome, that roller rink, because they rolled our Central Arkansas squad. My apologies. I thought we were going to cover. We didn't even cover that, right?
No, we got a cover on that. We lucked out in the fourth quarter. We got it back.
That's right. Yeah. See, I had it on the TV. But it was so much of a blowout that I moved it over to the other games that were on at the time. Idaho opened up with a 17-0 lead on Cal. Had that on one of the TVs. I was saying, oh shit. But Cal scores 31 unanswered and beats the Idaho Vandals. That's one thing that stands out to me is the Big Sky making statements left and right, whether it's Weber winning at Northern Iowa, whether it's Idaho beating the piss out of Nevada and then watching Nevada go toe to toe with Kansas somewhat. And then you have Sacramento State. Sac State beats Stanford in Palo Alto. I mean, that's huge fucking win for Sac State, 30-23. I mean, we kind of thought, I feel like last season after, Scattaboo, they're starting running back transfers to Arizona State. Asher O'Hara's gone at the quarterback spot. They lose their best defensive player. They to the portal. Their head coach obviously heads out to Stanford. You kind of thought Sac State was gonna struggle. I mean, I thought they'd still have a winning season, but I was expecting regression after watching the first few weeks. I mean, they're a player in this mix, man. Like I'm fascinated by their continued, development as a program. And I think this is a program that eventually, I hate to say it for the FCS fans out there, they scream FBS to me with the way they beat the piss out of Colorado State last year. Another FBS. So they've just racked up wins. Watch out for the Hornets. What'd you make of this game? And in general, the Big Sky, you also had the Ferris State game, and I'm going to go game by game in a second. But my point is that Montana survived the scare against Ferris State. Shout out to Montana for putting that game on the schedule. It was fantastic. But you have Montana State, Weber State, Sac State, Eastern Washington's looking good. Idaho's good. This conference should be in the like based on the level of play. I feel like they should be in the FBS because they're very fucking good. What do you make of the Big Sky? Do you have a team that you think is still? You think Montana State's still the team to beat, or I kind of think they're going to get tested a lot more than I thought, say preseason.
Yeah, I definitely do too. I kind of had them. I believe I had them run every game except for the Beef Bowl against South Dakota State, but. Another team, I mean, one that I think is a little under the radar at the moment, but I think they're going to be a big problem is Dan Hawkins and UC Davis. Out there.
How did I not even mention them? Yeah.
They're looking real good. Tough on both sides of the ball, mostly defense from week to week, but I mean, the offense is clicking a little bit too. So yeah, great conference, man. With the Pac-12 fading away and going away. I mean, Big Sky football. That's
shit.
Football after dark, baby. Let's go.
If I'm the conference commissioner, say, hey, we need to get Oregon State, Washington State, Maybe steal a couple other schools and boom. I know GBO was talking about that, but shout out to the chat. Everyone's rocking along. Look, we're gonna go game by game on this, but I was taken back. Those are some of the biggest takeaways. There's another one that I'm gonna flex in a little bit here, but just some really good football games. We're gonna talk about it all. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the FCS College Football Experience is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Yes, we are back with another week of football. DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the college football and NFL action with great offers every single day. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. So throw $5 down on any of this week's big time matchups and walk away an instant winner regardless of the outcome. And look, DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. That's fantastic. I could talk about, back to the FBS slate. We already have a line on Georgia State catching 7 in Conway, South Carolina on Thursday. It's the Thursday night game. I like the Panthers to cover the 7. And I even like a sprinkle on the money line, mainly because the road team wins every one of those matchups. I think they're in their 5th or 6th season of playing each other, and the home team's never won. So let's ride with the Panthers. Don't buck that trend. Football is more fun when you're in on the action. So download the app now. Sign up with the promo code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League, with the promo code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Yes, buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. I'm going up to Laramie this week to catch Appalachian State, Wyoming. But I was smart. I pulled out the Game Time app and boom, I used that thing. All right, because Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for really anything, sports, music, comedy, and theater that is all near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you'll be having at the very event. Game Time guarantee that they offer is pretty fantastic. You'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create that account, CFBX, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we are back on the FCS College Football Experience, and as we touched on Bethune-Cookman, Miami, and Rhode Island, Maine, Maine's got to get that program back going. Maine should be really fucking good. All right, I look at Montana and and the Dakotas, the flagship school of the state, should be rolling along. Shout out to Rhode Island getting it together too. But let's open things up with a bang, because your boy Dundee locked up the Crusaders of Holy Cross and Matthew Sluka, my boys, who I want to win an FCS Natty this year. They should have beat Boston College, and Boston College should have beat Florida State. So does that make Holy Cross better than Florida State? Who knows? Holy Cross gets it done 49-24 at the Yale Bowl. And man, dive into the stats on Matthew Sluka. Matthew Sluka, 23 of 30, 275, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 9.2 yards of completion. But then he doesn't stop there. 98 yards on the ground and 2 other touchdowns. Whoo! Just give him the Heisman already. Jalen Coker also the big game with the wide receiver spot. But did I say Heisman? You know what I mean? The Jerry Rice Award or the Walter Payton Award. That's what it is. What did you make of that outcome, man? Because Yale's supposed to be legit. They were not against the Crusaders.
I'll tell you what, man. It's one of those situations. I know we're talking FCS, but I had a lot of people asking me about Florida State and Boston College, and I kept telling them I'm taking BC. Bad spot for Florida State. And there's something I always wonder is if some idiot like me can look at a game and know that it's a bad spot for your team, why can't Coach Norvell get his team hyped for that Boston College game? It's a sleepy environment. I know we got Clemson on deck, blah, blah, blah. Let's go. Shout out to Holy Cross getting it done. This was a tricky spot coming off a heartbreaking loss from Boston College. This game could have went a different way. Yale had all their offseason, 2 extra weeks to prepare. So shout out to them, man. They looked great. They got it done. I picked them as well. Didn't lock them because of the spot, but I love to see a team get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think they are one of the 5 best teams in the FCS. All right. Fine. Like, I don't care how you shake it out. I'm putting them there. Central Connecticut State and Kent State. Sorry, Blue Devils. You did not get it done. And believe it or not, you didn't even cover. All right. Kent State 38, Central Connecticut State 10. The fucking Long Island Sharks. They kept it respect. I know there was a big lightning delay or cloud delay, whatever you want to say. Lehigh, I'm sorry, Baylor 30, Long Island 7. Speaking of Lehigh, though, oh boy, the big red freshmen. Yeah, we were on this one. Jamison Wang and the big red. He throws 2 touchdowns as Cornell opens its 135th college football season with a 23-20 victory on the road in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania at Goodman Stadium. I think that was a push. What was that? I think because I feel like was Cornell favored?
When we picked it, it was only 1.5. Come game day, it was 3. So I pushed it when I bet it, but on the pick show we got this one.
Gotcha. Well, I locked this one up. Boise State minus the points against North Dakota. North Dakota fought hard, man. They fought hard, and I like this game on the schedule. I would like to see North Dakota State, South Dakota State, North Dakota, South Dakota playing Boise more often, but Boise opens this thing up late, gets the cover. We laid 13.5 with them. Next up, we got this game, dude. Stonehill, Georgetown. I mean, you had all these games, all these matchups on at the studio, and yes, I had Stonehill, Georgetown on one of the bigger TVs. Holy shit. Georgetown, first off, it looked like Georgetown was going to they were up. No, I think it was 13.5 if memory serves me correct, but it was back and forth in the second half, and Georgetown Stonehill gets a field goal lead late in the game. Georgetown's defense holds after a turnover, right? They hold them to 3, and then Georgetown gets down the field. There was like a 40-yard pass or 50-yard pass to start the drive. They're in field goal range. Second down, they're trying to go no huddle, and the running back does the chop block, and they get him 15-yard penalty, and it was only like 10 or 11 seconds. They were in field goal range, and because of the low block, 15-yard penalty, and they were not in a position that they were in a position to throw a Hail Mary. But I mean, Georgetown was right fucking there, man. I was right after the big time completion. I was like, this game's going to overtime, or maybe Georgetown can win it. But critical play there. This game was fantastic. Shout out to Stonehill out of the NEC beating the Hoyas, giving them their first loss in the Patriot League. My boys, I know we were both on Georgetown, man, and this was a neck and neck game, back and forth. Fantastic watch though, man. And what do you make of the Hoyas? Because now it just seems like Holy Cross is just going to run away with the Patriot League. Maybe Fordham if they continue to improve. What do you make of Georgetown losing this game?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm hoping for the program. I mean, we both hit this when we got it at +9 for Stonehill, so I am happy with that. I took it on game day too. I believe it was down to like 6.5 when I bet it, but what I'm hoping for Georgetown is this doesn't unravel things. Losing a game like this at home that you were favored to win. There's hype around the program with the new season. So
you know what helps?
I just want to see them keep rolling, man.
You know what helps for the Hoyas is they have Columbia on deck, and Columbia. We were on the Lafayette Leopards to bounce back after that Duke loss. They win 24-3. Remember, we said Columbia's a mess. They got to hire a coach super late in the offseason. It just seems like bad times as Columbia went up 3-0, and then Lafayette said, "Okay, let's press fuck you mode," and they scored 24 unanswered. Shout out to the Leopards getting it done, running for 243 yards against that Columbia defense means to me that the Hoyas will have something to attack right there and move to 3-1. Shout out to Lafayette. Dayton beat the hell out of Taylor University. And how about the vacuum company? Wagner going to what is up with Sacred Heart? We thought Sacred Heart was going to be Wagner with the former UConn quarterback Steven Krajewski. I'm probably butchering his name, but it's Steven. How do I pronounce his name here? Yeah, Steven Kadrewski. Sounds like a spy, a guy who writes a spy novel. You know what I mean? Like it's. I feel like you can go to a Barnes and Nobles. You see thousands of books written by Steven Kadrewski. Dude, that's a fucking big win, man. This is a Wagner team that was terrible for the past couple years, and all of a sudden showing some signs of life. You know, and I should have noticed when they lost 24-0 to Navy, because Navy actually played decently against Memphis the very next week. But the Seahawks, the Wagner Seahawks, starting up that vacuum, 17-10 Sacred Heart. They're a true dumpster fire right now in the FCS. So I don't know. Do you have any take on the Seahawks? It's not like we expect them to win the NEC, but I did not see this coming.
Yeah, no, I mean, you hit it. They did. They kept it close. They're closer than I thought they were going to against Navy. And then you go in and, I mean, I'm really happy for the Wagner program, and I hope this is a sign of life, like you said. But my big takeaway is Sacred Heart. I was pretty high on them in the preseason when we were doing the shows, and it's not looking good, man. I even bought into them one more week. I laid the 13 when we picked it, and I'm out. I'm done with this team. They're dead to me.
Yeah. Well, you know who looking back at my plays from this past week. Look, I enjoy the St. Thomas Tommy story a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy them jumping from D3 to D1 and saying, fuck you. We don't even have scholarship players, and we're going to beat you. We're going to beat you. I do think they're going to end up in the FBS eventually because they spend a shit ton of money. But I think Harvard waxed them, dude. Harvard 45-13. Mm-hmm. Harvard opens up and that was 21-0 in the first quarter, man. 21-0. And look, I thought Harvard losing Charlie Dean, not a problem. I mean, look, they didn't even throw the ball for that much. It was the run game for Harvard. Charles DePrima, all right, getting after it with 113 yards on the ground. But the other running back, Shane McLaughlin, had a 98. So they were just running shop through the Tommies. I was dumb there. That was my fault. I apologize to the FCS universe because that was off on me. But you know what was right on me was a little lock of the Campbell Camels heading into New Jersey, take on Monmouth. Mike Minter. This team, I knew all preseason was misevaluated. They were misevaluated. I knew they were one of the more talented rosters, and I still think we're mentioning CAA, which is I think CAA is going to be a lot more exciting than we thought. I think coming into it, everyone's like, "Oh, William and Mary's going to run this thing." With the way I've seen Rhode Island look, with the way I thought Delaware is still going to be a player, Richmond, who knows? But Campbell is legit. New Hampshire, we knew was legit, and I would even throw the Albany Great Danes in there as well. Mm-hmm. Like this is and Villanova. I mean, like you have a lot of teams in this conference that, and maybe even Elon. I don't know. Elon's kind of a mystery team, but I'm excited. I think the CAA is better than what people thought. The Colonial Athletic Conference. What do you make of the Campbell Camels beating down Monmouth 45-31 on the road?
Yeah, this was a double lock, so everybody better listen up when that happens. You know, we nailed that one. So I'm enjoying it. I hope they keep misgrading them here when these lines come out. I hope Vegas keeps missing the boat on this thing because it's been nice riding them 2 weeks in a row and 3 weeks in a row, I believe. So I'm digging it.
NaQuari Rogers, their running back's a fucking stud. He had 152 yards rushing, over 7 yards of rush, and then you add in that with a super experienced quarterback who's been in college. I feel like since like the Nixon administration and Haji Malik Williams. And that's going to be a recipe that a lot of teams are going to have to deal with there. The Penn Quakers, we were on this one. We laid the whatever, I think it was 10 against the Colgate toothpaste. You said you're more of a Crest guy now. Well, I'm more of the Aquafresh type after winning money, fading Colgate every week. All right. Penn 20, Colgate 6. Quakers, you can tell that defense still showing up.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Iowa of the Ivy, you know.
them in South Dakota.
yeah. Davidson finally got their shit together. They needed to because they look like shit. And Marist, the Red Foxes, they might be in the Sacred Heart bin for dumpster fire as they gave up 49 to Davidson. The shocking thing about that is if you look, Davidson lost to a D2 the week prior and then only put up 7 against VMI in Danny Rocco's first game. So, but hey, shout out to the Wildcats, FCS playoff team the past couple of years, much needed win. They get it done. Temple rolled Norfolk State, kind of projected that one to happen. Lamar got rolled by South Dakota. NC State beats the piss out of VMI. I was a bit shocked by Ball State in Indiana State. Indiana State, you want to talk about? Okay, so our dumpster fire list right now, we can make this thing, is Marist. Our dumpster fire list is Sacred Heart. And I think we throw Indiana State in there. It's one thing. Like I understand Ball State had played Georgia and Kentucky, stellar competition. They're trying to become SEC members. But damn, 45-7 in a rivalry game. What the hell happened to Indiana State? I think everyone was, even myself, I was drinking a little bit of that Kool-Aid with the Sycamores. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's one of the ones I said I was going to give them one more week. Them and Sacred Heart both. I said the same thing because I had Indiana State being a little bit of a sleeper team in Missouri Valley, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case at all. This team sucks, and I'm out on them until they could show me that they could figure out some offense. Man, what is going on?
Yeah, and I think that if you're a Missouri Valley fan, you've been so dominant, but at the same time, there's some question marks with Indiana State's opening loss to Eastern Illinois. I won't blame this one too much. It's FBS against FCS, but there's nothing encouraging about Indiana State. And then you look around and you see some of the other losses: Northern Iowa to Weber, Illinois State, which we'll get to in a minute. You want to be winning more of those non-con games. Weber State actually hung with Utah more than I thought they would. Only lost by 24. Now, no Cam Rising, but I still think Weber's a player in the Big Sky. Bob Morris, Robert Morris, Bernard Clark covering, going into the ice house to take on your Penguins there of the Youngstown State. I mean, Youngstown State was up like 27 to, I don't remember, 27-10 or something at half. And they,
we got a lot of mercy out there. We're good-hearted people out there in Youngstown. We like Italian food and we like, showing our better nature sometimes, giving Bobby Morris a little bit of hope.
True, but if you really want to be the people's team, you might want to cover the number.
Well, you got to cover.
Yeah, exactly. Grambling,
James Franklin's figuring that out, I think.
Right. Grambling rolls Florida Memorial, which is definitely sounds like a funeral parlor or a cemetery. I'm sorry. Montana State destroys Stetson, but we covered this. We covered this one. The Hatters came up there to Bobcat Stadium and Montana State 57, Stetson 20. Hard to deduce a lot from this, but I will talk about this game. So, you know who's going to be a real player in the OVC? Eastern Illinois. All right, they beat the shit out of Indiana State in week 1. They played decently well, took a loss, but at Bowling Green. But the MAC is looking pretty fucking good considering what's happening with them beating the Big 12 teams and Boston College and stuff. They beat Indiana State. This game, I watched every snap of this game. This game was very entertaining game. Defensive struggle, which I love. Illinois State, once again, folks, to remind you, double-digit favorites. And I'll tell you, man, EIU, when they landed the Georgetown transfer that we talked about and Pierce Holley, that was a huge get. That was a huge get, man. And I'm kind of buying into EIU. They win 14-13. This was a crazy game because EIU was up 7-0 at half. And then Illinois State ties it. So we're going into the fourth 7-7. And then Illinois State scores, to go up, and then Eastern Illinois answers and ends up winning the game. Fucking insane game. And it was just, but I'm super impressed with EIU considering how bad they were a year ago. Now they take down a Missouri Valley team, and I think they might be players in the OVC this year, man. What'd you make of this one?
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty excited. I like when they're good. I mean, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on this network, but I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm a Tony Romo guy. I'm all good with Eastern Illinois. I like when they're good. I like following a good quarterback story there too. So let's go, Pierce Holley. Let's ramp it up and keep rising.
Yeah. So then, I mean, I think we got to watch out for them. We got to take them seriously. Mm-hmm. This game, in the MEAC. Now, I did not watch this live, but the benefit of us, doing our FBS reaction show, and we were waiting for Colorado State to end, which went on forever, was all of our other TVs went out as far as the games. The games were over. I mean, we had like Southern Utah, UC Davis on one screen, but we have like a 10 TV setup here. So we had Fresno, Arizona State, Colorado State, and we needed more games. So I threw on Hampton Howard at Aldi Field there in DC. Holy shit, man. And majority of us, me and Patty C were watching this. I mean, Howard was kind of having their way with them. This was a big time comeback by Hampton. They scored, I think, I almost think it was like 21. It was almost 21 unanswered. I think Howard might've got a field goal in there, but 35-34, Hampton beats Howard. This one I did not see coming as far as like an outright win. What a fucking win by Hampton. And they move to 2-1. That's a conference win, man. That's a huge fucking win as they beat Grambling in the opener. They lost the Battle of the Bay to Norfolk State, but they bounced back by beating the Bison of Howard 35-34 in a wild one. They head to Richmond next. What'd you make of this, man?
What I make of it is that's 2 times in a row now you've picked Hampton in a little battle we've had against
Hampton in, baby. Hampton in, baby. Don't. I know my pirate football, whether it's ECU or whether it's Hampton. Watch out.
More like butt pirates. Screw those guys. I'm done with them, man. I'm out.
Yeah. Richmond bodied Delaware State 38-6. They covered the big number. And then let's talk a little bit about this Central Arkansas North Dakota State game. I didn't even realize we covered that. You know what? Now that I think about it, it explains why there was more money in my account than I thought. Cause I was wondering, I was like, did I hit a parlay and maybe the value was more than I thought? But this game, dude, this was early on. Like I said, I didn't watch much of the second half when it was 35 to like 14. I was like, okay, I picked wrong here at the Fargo Dome, and I think they had a pick 6 or something. They had a defensive touchdown early in the game that made me just totally say, yeah, it's not going to happen. But I will say what was impressive when you dive into the Nuggets here, Derek Powell, the running back for Central Arkansas, 18 rushes, 218 yards, 12 yards a carry.
He's a dog, man.
Whew. If only they had a defense, because it makes me believe. I mean, also you can't have McIlvain make those turnovers, but I mean, nice backdoor cover, and shout out to that. But we thought they would be live to maybe pull up the upset. Yes. How big of fools were we on that?
One of those rare situations where you hit a cover and you're not even really happy about it. I work till 5, and I unfortunately do work Saturdays. So this was a game, it started at 3:30, and I was like, I got to get the hell out of work and I want to watch Central Arkansas, North Dakota State. And before I even got out of work, it was like 42-14.
Yeah. Damn. So I'm saying, I was like, I even said in the studio, we had it on. I was like, fuck Central Arkansas, man. I'm like, I bought in, man. I bought in hard, but hey, got the cover. You still like them to win the UAC?
I do. And I'm hoping this is going to be a wake up call. Like, hey, you're still this far off from being in that top tier teams in the FCS. So what I really take away from this game is, we were both kind of doubting a little bit that North Dakota State is the same football team it's been forever now. So I think they're starting to put those doubts to rest a little bit. They seem legit. Yeah,
I agree. Between that and the Eastern Washington win, which continues to look better and better, I'm buying more stock on North Dakota State. Turns out I was the fucking idiot. South Dakota State 70, Drake 7. We laid the points with the Jackrabbits. Easy play. I can't believe they got to 70. I want to do a quick check on your Toreros here because Princeton goes to the West Coast. I do believe we covered, so we had that at least.
That's all that matters, man. But
the Toreros are winless, buddy, including a D2 loss. How do you like their chances in the Pioneer League moving forward?
Yeah. I don't think this is the same program that Harbaugh came through. So they need to get things together a little bit. I think you might have called it on the nose. A little bit of football karma, like when Doc Holliday got let go from Marshall. Showed the door. I mean, same thing kind of going on here. That's football karma, man. Doesn't treat you well.
And then I was a bit shocked by this outcome. Utah Tech, aka Dixie State, going into Flagstaff. They got to fire my guy in Flagstaff. 50-36. These Utah schools showing up. This was 37-7 at halftime, man. Mm-hmm. This was I repeat, this was 37-7 at halftime. That's what you get for playing in that filthy sky walk-up dome, whatever the fuck it is. Man, Utah Tech might be a tougher out than we think in the UAC.
Chippy, good appearance there, but that's my exact takeaway is Northern Arizona needs a new direction with the program because this program should not be this bad.
That's what I'm saying, man. This is an easy hire. Nick fucking Rolovich. All right.
There it is.
Go hire Nick Rolovich right now. He's an XFL offensive coordinator. You can go hire him. He will make them a winner instantly. Let's go. Call 1-800-PICK-DUNDEE, NAU administration. 1-800-PICK-DUNDEE. I got you covered for who you should hire. You don't need to
fake the Vax card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just fake the Vax card. That's all.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It's Arizona. The COVID never happened in Arizona. And I can tell you this, man. You hire these search firms to get your coach. It's the biggest waste of money. Only in America could you come up with this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like 1-800-PICK-DUNDEE is all you need. Portland State 91, North American University 0. And it's going to get a little worse for old North American because Incarnate Word's on deck.
Jeez, yeah. Portland State, they got a little football karma coming their way for that one too. Good for you. You put up 91 on North American, but yeah, I don't think they're a very good team. Called off the dogs though, man. They called off the dogs. I'll give the Vikings some love. This was 63-0 at halftime. They scored 28 in the third, and then they said, "All right." Didn't score any in the fourth, man. This thing was 91-0 heading into the fourth. Unfucking believable. I was surprised at this, man, and I was talking. Shout out to our fans, but I was shocked at this outcome. Now I know it's a rivalry game, but Brown beats Bryant 29-25. What the fuck is happening with the Bryant Bulldogs? I thought they were moving in the right direction. And shout out to some of our fans there that hit me up. And let me see if I can recite this one. Shout out to Ryan, who DM'd me saying Bryant's going to be entering the CAA. They better get their NIL collective rolling because you can't be losing this. And he's a Bryant Bulldog fan, so hopefully they do. But 29-25, that's a big win for the Ivy, right? Yeah, definitely. Quarterback Jake Wilcox looked real good. He lit it up. Threw for I think 3 touchdowns. So I was following this game pretty closely because Bryant was one of my locks. So me too. Watching them lose, that hurt. I ain't shit on this. Yeah. Then this game was phenomenal, and I'm buying in. So Eastern Washington lost to North Dakota State in the opener, right? Then they pushed Fresno to overtime in Fresno, which is very impressive considering Fresno has 2 Power 5 wins. Power 5 wins. Yeah. On the road. Yeah. And then they beat Southeast Louisiana, who is an FCS playoff team a year ago. By the way, E-Dub, your scheduling tactics, fucking insane. All right. Your first 3 games, insane. But I am buying in that this team is legit. That's a huge win. And I do think this is what I mean. It's like before, I think we said like when Montana State or whoever was playing E-Dub, or we just thought, we got to favor the other team. I don't know. I think E-Dub is a legit football team, and I'm the Big Sky making big time headlines in my opinion out of all the FCS conferences. That's a 40-29 win over Southeast Louisiana. I know you were on Sela, right? And I was on E-Dub, I think here. Yeah. So I get the tout a little bit, man. But what'd you make of that outcome? Yeah, I mean, I locked up Sela there, so that's a good football team that they beat like that, and they're a team with a killer home field advantage. So I'm really happy to see that kind of win back at home for that program. So I'm all about it, man. I like Eastern Washington. They're always a feisty team. Like I said, cool home field advantage. I'm all about it. Let's keep going.
Yeah. GBO saying Eastern Washington State every year. That should be fun. That would be fun. Even though I and it should be Idaho too. Idaho's right. If you've been to Pullman, Washington, like you're I don't know, you could just be drinking and end up in Moscow. You know what I mean? Like you go out larger, not Moscow, Russia, Moscow, Idaho is like fucking, you could throw a baseball to it.
Depends on how much you drink and see which one you end up at.
Yeah. Or if you drink a lot, you could end up in Moscow, Russia. Exactly. You never know. All right. Snowden did it. But this is the red flag game here. William and Mary 15, Charleston Southern 7. This is where I get a little scared. I know William and Mary already has the win against Campbell. And that was a CAA opening Thursday night win that they got. I don't know though, man. I kind of think Rhode Island is better than William and Mary. I'm concerned. They were asleep at the wheel a little bit here. This was the one they went for 2 on the first score. It was 8-7 for a lot of the game. So do you think they were just looking past them? William and Mary has Maine on deck.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. I don't think it was look ahead.
Yeah.
Maine on deck. The way I picked minus 18.5 on our pick show, but the way I actually bet this game was I bet the under, and I kind of had a feeling maybe it is like a sleepy little stretch here for William and Mary. So I'm not buying too much stock in a weird little road trip to play a team that kind of sucks this year. So I'd like to see a little more out of them next week against Maine for sure. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. North Carolina. I don't know. I got to start paying closer attention to William and Mary now. I kind of thought early in the year they would just kind of breeze through the CAA. I don't know anymore. UCLA took on North Carolina Central. They destroyed them 59-7. I thought Chip Kelly would call off the dogs. Nope. First 50-point win for UCLA since 2014. Just impressive. And shout out to Jay Scott in the chat. It says, I would like to invite you guys to a Lindenwood game, aka the penitentiary, or enjoy some old city of St. Charles and the Lou and our small but beautiful stadium and watch a game. I would love to take you up on that at some point, man. At some point, Jay Scott, I appreciate you and the invitation, and it's something that at some point I would like to take you up on. Regardless, we appreciate you listening, man, and I'm hoping Lindenwood gets going, man. I like their developments and what's happening with them. So, we'll stay in touch, man, and eventually try to take you up on that. Northern Colorado got destroyed by Washington State. Saw that one coming. Okay, let's talk about this Furman Kennesaw State game because I did lose money. On Furman. Kennesaw scored 21 in the 4th. This was basically a backdoor cover that burned me. But Furman has a huge game this week against Mercer. I kind of thought Furman and Mercer remind me of each other because I thought they would be a lot better this year. Mm-hmm. Both of them. So I'm fascinated by that matchup. I'm mad that Furman didn't cover. Kennesaw's 1-2. Kennesaw's the team jumping to the FBS. You figure it out. Kennesaw, I guess you got Tennessee Tech, you got GBO's Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles on deck. But what'd you make of that? Cause that was a brutal game. They were in control when I was watching it. And then, Kennesaw battles back and gets a bunch of points in the 4th. And I still say both. Furman and Mercer, do you have a lean on that? I know our pick show will be later in the week, but I'm going to go Furman still, but I don't know. I feel like both the times I've watched them have not been as good as I thought they would be.
Yeah, early lean. I was actually just thinking that while you were talking there. I was thinking my early lean is definitely still Furman, especially being at home. But I still think they look a little more all together, especially on offense. They seem to have it a little more figured out than Mercer does, but they are very comparable teams. Should be at the top of the SoCon, and there's a lot of question marks going on there. So interesting. Also, I'm happy to see that Kennesaw didn't really pack it in with the jump going to the FBS. It looks like they're still putting their full effort in every game each week. So watch out for them. They're not a weak team. They're not a team to take light.
Yeah. Miles College almost knocked off Arkansas Pine Bluff. They lose 21-20. Pine Bluff. Hey, any way you can get the fucking wins, at least you survived. All right, move along. let's go back to the SoCon though, because I don't know. I know that they're called the Catamounts, but isn't that like a Wildcat or something? What is it? Yeah. So I can play that. I can play this. And shout out to Weehawk, who I know was in the chat. Man, this game was the craziest game on Saturday to me. This game was fucking insane. You just had so many moments in this game. So like, I think Eastern Kentucky had an early lead. It was a strange lead though. It was like 11-7. I feel like for a lot of the first half. I think Eastern Kentucky added a field goal to make it 14-7, so the score seemed normal. But then Western Carolina ties it up in the third, and in the fourth, I mean, folks, go watch this. You can watch it on demand if you have ESPN Plus, because this game in the fourth quarter was fucking insane. You essentially had Eastern Kentucky score, right? And you're thinking, okay, with and then 2 minutes left, Western Carolina goes all the way down and scores. And you're thinking, oh, okay, they're going to win the game now. No, because so by the way, hold on, let me break this down. Eastern Kentucky, I believe, makes a field goal to go up 3 with 2 minutes left, and there hasn't been much scoring in the second half. So you're thinking, oh, it's over. Well, then Western Carolina goes straight down the field, scores, but leaves too much time on the clock because Eastern Kentucky scores like 3 players later, and then you're thinking, oh, I'm fucked on Western Carolina. No, they go down all the way through the field, down the field, score again. And then EKU battles all the way back, drops a touchdown, like a 40-yard touchdown, and then miss the game tying field goal. This game was insane. This was one of the best games of the week. I actually will put this up against any FBS game from last week. The Catamounts are living up to what I'm talking about. I know Weehawk's excited about that. And this is I had them finishing second in the SoCon to only Furman. They already beat Samford. I'm buying in though, because that was their past 2 weeks were the biggest test to me. They beat Samford 30-7, beat their ass. And then last week they win their toughest road game, in the non-con, well, Arkansas, I guess, but you know what I mean? Within the FCS, they have on deck Charleston Southern and the Citadel. They need to not go to sleep, and they win those. And then they have some big tests in October. October actually is like they have a bye week, but they get Chattanooga, Furman, and Mercer all in October. Those are 3 huge tests. And then I love their November. It's Wofford, ETSU, and VMI. But I'm buying in, man. If you watched this game, this game was absolutely fantastic. Cole Gonzalez, we didn't see Charlie Dean at all. Cole Gonzalez threw for 340, 3 touchdowns and a pick, and then Desmond Reed, their running back's a stud. 29 rushes, 177 yards, 6.1 yards a rush, getting it in. And poor old Eastern Kentucky just can't buy a win despite Parker McKinney throwing for 366. What do you make of this one? And I know you were on the wrong side of this one, but I'm gonna throw salt in the wounds. No,
honestly, I'm happy about it, and I think someone like Weehawk should be really excited. I mean, if you come off of whipping Samford like that, I mean, that's a big high. That's a big emotional win. And then you have to go on the road to play a game, the next week. That's another tough game. A lot of times that's a hard spot to get up for. And they did it and they won the game. And what I really like out of this team is I was excited about the offense, and we were both kind of worried about the defense. The defense looks pretty damn good, I think, against good competition. So yeah, you nailed it. This team, they look like they're at the top of the SoCon.
Yes, and Weehawk, me and NC Nick have had conversations about potentially attending a game this year or next year. I'll say that. And now I got Lindenwood invites. This is God bless the universe. What a win though for the Catamounts. And Northern Iowa 41, Idaho State 17. So Northern Iowa needed that after the way Weber beat them down. Nice win. Idaho State looking a bit troubled. I know there's a tough job Cody Hawkins walked into. Merrimack destroys Virginia Lynchburg 44-0. Merrimack needed that. Let's talk about it. Let's go back to the SoCon on this one. Wofford, Sean Watson. Yeah. Ew. Presbyterian, the Blue Hose, 23. Wofford, 20. What in the hell happened here, man? And I did not see this one coming. Is Presbyterian buying into Tyler Wesley at the quarterback spot? By the way, to win a game while going 16 of 41, super fucking impressive, but no turnovers. And that's the name of the game. 2 touchdowns. They couldn't get any run game really going. Their leading rusher had 43 yards rushing, but the Blue Hose somehow find a way to get it done. Unbelievable. I mean, we're way off on Presbyterian, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we did pick them to cover, but when we picked that line, it was a 42.5-point line. So this team won outright as a 42.5-point dog when the line opened. So that's insanity. I don't think we were wrong on the Blue Hose. I just think Wofford, they suck.
Yeah. Shocking though. I thought Wofford was making steps in the right direction. This is a big time setback. Shout out to Philip in the chat. He goes, my Hoyas lost. Me too, man. I'm a Georgetown fan. I thought they were there. I hate that call because you're picking up the blitz. I would have liked to see it go to overtime, and I hate seeing a call like that dictate a game. But I think Georgetown's going to be fine. I think we're going to have a winning season with the Hoyas this year. Moving along, Florida A&M 31, West Florida 10. All right. I don't know. It shouldn't take. They probably caught off the dogs, but I didn't watch any of that game. But I did watch this game. This game was insane too. Gardner Webb and Tennessee State. Gardner Webb, I think, caught a look ahead spot because I think Gardner Webb can give ECU a game. Oh man, this game was neck and neck, back and forth. It was Gardner Webb had a 17-14 halftime lead. They got a safety in the third to go up 5. Tennessee State scores a touchdown. And then this is back and forth. Tennessee State makes a field goal late to win the game in Nashville. I kind of root for Gardner Webb, so I wanted to see them win. Also to make my projections look correct. It's a big win for Tennessee State, man. It's a big win, and the OVC / Big South is very interesting. It's very interesting. So with Gardner Webb losing that game, what did you make of this one?
Yeah. So what I want to see is, I was pretty excited. I hate Ohio State, but I wanted to see Eddie George do well. And I want to see him be consistent. I'm a little worried about that program and the direction, he's not having quite the same flair as Dion did, so I want to see the consistency. I mean, cool win, but win your schedule, win the games you should win. Don't drop those games.
But it starts with a win like this. Gardner Webb, FCS playoff team a year ago. And a nice, so you found a way to get it done. Nari Gaither, the Gardner Webb running back, had a monster day too. 17 for 152. Maybe you give him the ball more than 17 times. Just an idea. Surprising outcome though. That was a fantastic football game to watch. Delaware rolled St. Francis. St. Francis, PA. I'm out on them. I mean, not that the Delaware game, but it was the game prior. But Delaware 42, St. Francis 14. Elon handled North Carolina A&T and Vincent Brown 27-3. Elon will still be a player. They're going to beat some teams in the CAA that I don't think, we people are assuming. You know what I mean? Like I think they're still solid. So CAA is probably a much better conference than people think. New Hampshire beats the shit out of Dartmouth 24-7, getting it done. The Butler Bulldogs took down Wabash. Watch out for Butler in the Pioneer League this year, man. Chattanooga just destroys the Citadel 48-3. The Citadel is just a mess right now. I was surprised at this one. Towson 20, Morgan State 10. The way we saw Morgan State beat Richmond at Richmond, and then they should have beaten Akron in FBS. Towson though, 20-10 in the rivalry game. Speaking of CAA, is Towson better than we think?
Yeah, man. Towson was one. I don't remember. I think you might have too, but I had a really hard time kind of grading them out. And
I was higher on them because they hired a former Colorado offensive lineman in the national championship days. I'll be honest. I mean, I do think he's a good coach, but I didn't know he'd have it going like super early. So I thought like 2-3 years from now would be a great hire. How about the Delta State Devils though?
Woo, called that one.
35-7 Mississippi Valley State. They're clanging. They need some Jerry Rice money or something because Man, it's been a rough season for the Delta Devils there.
Is that the hardest job in all of college football?
It might be.
That's a tough job.
It might, but you're in Mississippi, man. They have great junior college players too. Like, I feel like the hardest job in college football has got to be like in the middle of a non-football state.
That's true. And I mean, Jackson State's in Mississippi. They don't even have like fresh water out there, and they still get guys,
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe not, but that's a tough job.
Well, you got all those JUCO schools that are good too, man. You know what I mean? So it's like
Delta State being one of them, right? As far as D2 anyway.
Yeah.
But they're a pretty good program. They're in Mississippi, I believe.
Yeah. And damn it, get them some clean fucking water. It's the same shit in Michigan. All right, it's absolutely ridiculous. Coastal Carolina 66, Duquesne 7. Wow. Tim Beck, relax. I thought Coastal would cover. I mean, I'm sorry. I thought Duquesne would cover. I thought Coastal would cruise to a win, but I did not see that coming. Alcorn State, I was on the right side of this one. They took down McNeese 17-3. I was surprised that Alcorn was a dog. We were also on the right side of Murray State covering against Middle Tennessee, as Middle Tennessee won 35-14. Arkansas State covered the 23 by a point against Stony Brook, 31-7. SMU rolled my guy Bubba McDowell, which I'm sorry, man. I mean, that's a tough draw. You got to go up to take SMU. They got this crazy NIL collective. They lose 69-0. Samford played Auburn better than they did Western Carolina, as they lost 45-13. Tarleton lost by 38 to Texas Tech. Stephen F. Austin, this was one of our locks. I will play our music. We knew this line was on. This is why the books don't know FCS, I don't think, because Stephen F. Austin 41, Northwestern State 7. Let's go. Lumberjacks. I'm telling you, UAC is going to be fun. Going to be a fun conference to cover this year. Rice beat the piss out of Texas Southern. I was shocked at this outcome. And I mean, really shocked. I think this is one of the more perplexing results. Austin P 63, East Tennessee State 3. East Tennessee State was like an FCS playoff team 2 years ago. I know their longtime coach retired. They might want to hire somebody else. I mean, I thought this was going to be kind of this was like a 13-point spread, 63-3. What the hell's happening with the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State?
I was on the wrong side of that one, man.
Me too. I thought, 13. You got a little Tennessee on Tennessee action. What in the hell is going on with ETSU, man? They were a good program. Alabama A&M loses by 10 to Southern. I was on Southern. North Alabama takes down Tennessee Tech. We were on North Alabama 20-7. And how about Lindenwood? Going back to the chat. Let's talk a little bit. Shout out to Jay Scott, but Lindenwood gets it done 43-40 over Western Illinois, who I actually thought Western Illinois would get this one based on what I saw from the Leathernecks against New Mexico State and then in their other games. But you look at this, shout out to Lindenwood, Cole Duggar getting it done, throwing for 270 and 5 touchdowns, just 1 interception. And the run game, getting it going with Robert Guillermo. I'm probably butchering your name, Robert, and I apologize, but you're a fucking stud. 20 rushes, 120 yards, getting it done, and a touchdown. And also, let's not forget about Jeff Caldwell getting it done. 5 for 185 and 4 touchdowns. Might want to guard him. Western Illinois might want to guard him. Shout out to Lindenwood, man. They're a school on the come up, and now they're becoming. Yeah, I did lock it. They're on the come up. This is a big time win, man. This program is on the come up. So 2-1. You beat a Missouri Valley team, even though they're departing the Missouri Valley. That's a fucking huge win, though. What'd you make of this one?
No, I mean this is a fun team when the offense is going. They put up 77 a couple weeks ago, I believe, against a D2 school, but still, this one felt pretty damn easy. As far as getting the 6, but outright win. Let's do it. I love it.
Yes, I will play the music for Jay Scott in the chat. Let's go, Lindenwood, baby. Nobody Nobody fades the penitentiary and gets away with it. All right, let's go. Wow, that was a nice win. It's a program builder, man. They're continuing to build that thing. Houston Christian. When I started to buy into UT Christian a little bit, I know they've been asked for the past couple of years, but after that Western Kentucky performance, I was like, hey, maybe they're not that bad. No, UT Martin 66, Houston Christian 7. And I know they changed their name from Houston Baptist to Houston Christian. Look, as long as you keep getting beat like this, you're going to need to change your name a third time. All right. Unbelievable. Now, look, I didn't get a chance to watch this game, and I have it on my to-do list for this week. Probably going to watch it tomorrow. Southern Illinois, I did keep up with the score. Southern Illinois and Southeast Missouri State, big time win for the Valley here. As Southern Illinois is it me or is there something magical about this team right now? So they're losing 15-0 at halftime. I'm keeping up to date. I'm like, yeah, I was on SEMO. I thought it was a letdown spot, but damn, if the Salukis, what did my boy Stone Labanowitz say? Don't let the dogs get hot. That's what he told me back in the day when he was quarterbacking SIU. They scored 26 in the second half, 26-25 win. Shout out to the Salukis and Nick Baker and everyone rolling along with that. I mean, look, they've had a tough schedule and impressive wins. Shout out to Vincent Davis, who had a huge day in the wide receiving core there. That's a huge road win right there. And you look at who they've beaten. They got the win against Northern Illinois. They got the win against Austin Peay, who just dropped 60 something on ETSU. They got Bobby Petrino's old school, Missouri State on deck. Hey, Salukis with one of the best helmets in college football too. Yeah. Just a gigantic Lassie on their fucking helmet. Dude, I was a bit shocked about that. You?
Yeah, I mean, we both locked up the 11, so got that thankfully. But I did same as you. I thought it was a perfect letdown spot, and this was a team that I kind of didn't buy a ton of the hype of the preseason. I saw a lot of publications were getting them up in the top 5, somewhere around there in Missouri Valley. But I think I'm in on them now, man. They're proving me a bit wrong. I don't think it was Indiana State that was the sleeper. I think it's Southern Illinois on the rise.
Yes. Cal Poly beat the hell out of Lincoln CA, where our hearts are still with Lincoln CA, the most gangster college football program. And I mean that in a very positive way because they're playing all road games. They're my favorite school in America. Lincoln CA. All right. In Oakland, California. Ferris State, man, this game was fantastic. We had this on the big screen for a bit. Ferris State was driving, missed a field. So late fourth quarter, Montana's up 17-10. Ferris State misses a field goal. It's kind of a chip shot that would have made it 17-13, but they had some shots in the end zone that they missed. And then shout out to Ferris State because they battled back. They got it back in on the Montana side of the ball or side of the field again, and really pushed this game to the brink. Montana escapes, and I heard a lot of other people that cover the FCS, including myself. I think I might have said this at one point. Say, why would Montana schedule this game? See, I think when we push that narrative, I think it sucks for the sport. This happens when I host the FBS one too. When people call out, why would Texas Tech's athletic director schedule a game in Laramie against Wyoming? Or why would Virginia Tech play at Marshall? I think it's healthy for the sport to give those people in the smaller schools a big game like that. I think it's fantastic, whether it's at or whether it's away. Ferris State's a really good D2. They've won 2 straight national championships. Is it a crazy game because your national title hopes or your outright playoff bid may be on the line? Theoretically, yes, but this is better for college football. For the consumer, this is a better thing to watch. I love this game on the schedule, and I hope we see more of that. I would like to see Ferris State play better schools. Jump up, if anything. Shit, Ferris State, you passed the test. I heard, Ferris State's coach was saying like that's the best college football environment we've ever played in. And damn it, you passed the test. Montana is a blue blood in the FCS, and you pushed them to the brink. You pushed them to the absolute fucking brink, and you didn't come up with a win. But I think you got a moral victory if there's ever such a thing. What's your opinion on this? I love that game on the schedule.
No, I absolutely do. I mean, think of how many classic Boise games we wouldn't have seen if that's the mindset of college football programs. And it's already hard as hell for Boise State or someone I'm sure like a Ferris State to get those games on the schedule. So shout out to the teams that do. And on the flip side, Montana, we've been talking a lot about how excited we are about the Big Sky. Montana, fraudulent alert. I think they're looking a little suspect so far this season to me.
Yeah, but I don't give a shit. Kudos to them for scheduling it.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos for them to scheduling it, man. Incarnate Word, Abilene Christian was a game. We had that on the TV too. Incarnate Word scores 17 in the fourth. This game was back and forth. The UAC is going to be a blast to watch. I'm telling you. Like, I'm sold on this conference being fun and emerging as one that I'm going to have to pencil in every Saturday. 27-20, they get it done against Abilene Christian. This is tough. Maverick MacGyver, greatest name in the history of planet Earth. 15 of 32, 189 and an interception, not getting it done. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Zach Calzada lit it up. The one-time this guy beat Alabama. He beat Nick Saban when he was at Texas A&M. But Calzada threw for 373. 373. And you might want to guard Brandon Porter. 12 targets, 10 catches, 201 yards and a touchdown. I think that's why you lost, if I had to guess, Abilene Christian. Still great game. And then Texas State just destroyed Jackson State. Texas State actually scored 80, but they had a holding call, 77-34. I don't know. Texas State, GJ Kinney, very impressive first year in the Sun Belt.
It's looking real.
And then I will play the music on this. Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds, they didn't get the win, but they covered for us. Are we a bit nervous? We had them, I think, projected second in the UAC. They're 0-3, but damn if they're not in every game. All right. Damn if they're not. I mean, even the BYU game they were in for a long time. I know the final score looks worse, but almost beat ASU in Tempe. And then you were right here. This was a good game. But I do feel like UC Davis was certainly the better team. What'd you make of this one?
Yeah, I think Miller's an awesome quarterback for Southern Utah, by the way. Yeah. I really like watching him. I did get to catch some of this one. And I think I feel fine with Southern Utah. They've had a tough schedule so far to open up. And like I kind of alluded to earlier in the show, I think UC Davis is a real threat in that conference in the Big Sky. So that's not a bad loss at all on the road there. For Southern Utah.
UC Davis's running back, Lan Larison. This guy's a fucking stud. First off, I'm pretty sure I'm not 100%. I think this is a white guy, but I mean, he's super fucking athletic. I know you look at the stats and say 17 for 60, right? He also threw a pass. That's not setting the world on fire, but look what he did in the receiving department. 8 catches, 106 yards and a touchdown. Get this guy the fucking ball. He popped off screen. Me and Patty C were watching. I was like, who is that?
He's like for New Hampshire.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Dan Hawkins and UC Davis. They have a big game this week, and that's a nice win. All right, let's do a little game ball action. Let's pick 3 teams each with a game ball for the week. And I'll give you a second to look, because I'll open it up with, to me, Southern Illinois has to be, to me, the first team that gets a game ball. They've had a pretty tough schedule to start the season. Austin Peay, Northern Illinois, and SEMO on the road, and they won all 3 of them. Can they stay hot is the question. I think they deserve a game ball because that's a super impressive performance. Mike, where are you going on your first game ball?
I was going to go Southern Illinois, but I'm going to go with Sac State getting the win over the old head coach, man. They got to be something right there. So, I mean, it's nothing going to make you feel better than that. So that's my first one.
Sac State is an interesting story because, Sacramento is a good fan town to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like San Francisco or Oakland. I mean, Oakland used to be, but ever since that tech money came in there, Sacramento, like the way they support the Sacramento Kings and stuff, if they can get that going, and the fact you're in California with all that talent, they could be a sleeping giant. I think we've said this for years, but I mean, like, now you add on the fact they've won back-to-back years against an FBS. Sac State, watch out. I'm super impressed. I like that game ball. My second game ball, you know what? As much as there's some great wins out there, Presbyterian, it's been a long road, man. It has been a long road to be even competitive. And when you go and beat a SoCon team, hey, own that shit. Have a fucking party. You know what I mean?
Especially as a 42.5 point dog.
Yes, they gotta be getting a game ball. Shout out to the Blue Hose of Presbyterian. Who you going with for your second game ball?
Yeah, sorry to GBO Farms in the chat, but North Alabama, man, getting it done on the road again, convincing fashion. This is a team we both
another UAC, and another one that I do. That conference is gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. It was my favorite one when we broke it down. It was my favorite conference at the time, and it's still rolling along as one of my favorites. So I really, really like seeing this North Alabama team just week in, week out fighting. Yeah, and my no, that's too easy. Let me go. That's a good game ball though, because North Alabama has been a pleasant surprise. They have been a very pleasant surprise. You know, my third game ball and final game ball for me. You know, I was thinking about taking Eastern Washington, but I don't think that's right, because I mean, Eastern Washington, kudos to them, but they won at home. All right, they won at home, and it's a great win. But I'm gonna go ahead and say Eastern Illinois. This is a team that didn't win many games last year, and I'm buying into the Indiana State win where you had like 3 pick sixes almost. I'm buying into EIU's program, and the Panthers are heading in the right direction. 14-13 win against an in-state rival, always big time. They were double-digit dogs. Give me the EIU. Let's go. Final game ball for me. Who's your final game ball? Yeah, I'm going to go with North Dakota State, just because I kind of shit on them a lot in the preseason, kind of was against them in this game, thought this was going to be a live dog situation, and they really shut me up, and I'm not even proud of getting the cover on this lock. So game ball, North Dakota State, looking like the Bison of old. You know what, though? I probably should have gave mine to Western Carolina. You know what? I'm going to throw out my EIU one. I'm going Western Carolina for you, Weehawk, because I was on them to finish. No, we have a lot of season left. October is huge. All right. We gotta, not start smelling ourselves here, but Catamounts actually should be the final game ball, but I like your North Dakota State angle too. Folks, that's our show. All right. We'll be back in a couple days, to do our picks for week 4. And by the way, I mean, some of these matchups for week 4, Mercer at Furman, Rhode Island traveling to Philadelphia to take on Villanova. Whew, it's a huge game. Chattanooga at Samford. You want the Mocs, they had the early blemish. They've been playing better lately. Sacramento State heading to Moscow. You want to talk about maybe the game of the week? That's a fucking huge game there. Montana is going to Flagstaff, or I don't know if that's huge, but we'll see. If Montana's shaky, you never know, hitting the road. Elon is taking on Campbell, in-state North Carolina matchup that I think is intriguing. Abilene Christian, Maverick MacGyver, you take that loss, a tough loss to IDub. Now you head to Arkansas to take on Central Arkansas. That's going to be a big game in the UAC. And then Montana State going to Weber State. I mean, that's a huge fucking game. Eastern Washington also heading to Davis, California to take on Dan Hawkins. It's the Big Sky. All right. I'm fascinated by this week. We're going to talk more about it Thursday night. Folks, subscribe to the FCS College Football Experience. You can just type in sg.pn/FCS and you'll get us. But also subscribe, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcast at. Please, if you can, hop on over, give us a 5-star review. We'd certainly appreciate that on iTunes. Sponsors always look at that stuff, and that's huge for us. And I'm super excited to talk FCS football on Thursday. Folks, this is the FCS College Football Experience. I also host the College Football Experience for the FBS, and the College Basketball Experience, and the College Baseball Experience. And we even have another podcast out there called the Big 12 Experience. All those are podcasts you should check out. We all come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience.
Subscribe over there if you can. Leave us your comments. And that's another thing. Drop us some comments. I'll answer that shit on air. Thursday, you wanted me to talk? Any questions you want, drop them and we'll answer them. So feel free to do that, chat. But also make sure you give Mike a follow. Mike's doing great work as always. Great Twitter follow as well. Mike's on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at GCG_wins. And yeah, super excited for Thursday's show. What are the weekday games? GBO Farms asked. I will say that before we get out of here. So we have on Thursday, kind of not the greatest game. Arkansas Pine Bluff is at Alabama A&M. Let me just see if we have a line on this. Let me see if we have a line on this. I think we might. Yes, I see Alabama A&M is laying 6.5.
Ooh, lay it.
I think we lay it.
Yeah.
I think we lay it. Friday we have Brown traveling to Harvard. Harvard's laying 13. Fuck. After Brown's performance, I don't know. Harvard looked good too, but that's a rivalry game. You almost feel like it's a come down spot. I think I'm gonna go. I think I lean Harvard. What are you doing here?
I think I'd take the points with Brown there.
Okay. Well, look, folks, we're going to be talking about these on Thursday. All right. But we got college football games. FCS, by the way, do yourselves a favor. Schedule more weekday games, please. All right. Folks, we'll be back. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. They cover all the NFL action. And if you're an NFL, you got to check it out. All right. Also, we do a fantasy football show for college football, or a DFS show essentially on the College Football Experience. So check that out as well. Get the SGPN app in the App Store and Google Play Store. It's free to download. We're not trying to take your money. And come talk FCS college football with us in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Until next time, folks, this is the FCS College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the gamblers. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know